Friends, I think we're live. Um, it looks like it. Let me just double check. It's been a while, you know. Um, let's see. Just making sure that we're live. It says we're live. There I am. Excellent. Alrighty. For some reason, it's really cropped in close on my face, but whatever. I'm here. I'm back from maternity leave. I'm thrilled to be back in the group, although I've certainly been hanging out in here while I've been gone. They don't tell you that motherhood, you still kind of spend a lot of time on your phone just at strange hours of the day. So I'm thrilled to be back. I'm thrilled to be working with clients again. I just kicked off my first post-maternity leave project today. I've had strategy sessions with clients, and here I am back in our marketing training. So we'll be getting back into a routine of these as we get going. Talking about an exciting one today, one that I figured would resonate because it's something I've actually been talking to quite a few clinicians about in these strategy sessions in the last couple of weeks as I've been ramping back up. So we're talking about how to get faster results in your marketing because whether you're brand new or you're 3 years into private practice and you need clients, you need clients fast. You don't necessarily have the luxury of just waiting for months and months and months. And so we're going to break down a lot of the popular marketing strategies in private practice marketing and talk about where to spend your time first, what to prioritize so that you can bring in clients faster. So if this is your first time joining me, we have had hundreds of people actually join the group since I've been on maternity leave. Hi, I'm Anna. Really happy to have you here. I am a marketing and web strategist, and I work specifically with therapists and counselors to help you market yourself in a way that feels really good and authentic to you and is also really effective, because it's great to feel good about what you're doing, but if you're not seeing results, then why are we doing it, right? So we bring those two things together here in the group. These marketing trainings are an opportunity for me to bring some ideas, some thoughts, some strategies to you that I've seen work when it comes to the private practice world. So if you're joining me, it looks like we maybe have a couple comments, but hi, please say hello. Hi everyone. Hi Audra. Hi Alyssa. Hi Lee. I'm so thrilled to be here. Let's dive into this topic because that's why you're here, right? You're not here to hear me talk about my cute little girl that is downstairs right now. But anyway, all right, how to get faster results in your marketing. So the thing that I really want to make sure we're all understanding as we get going here is what we call the client journey. And now if you've been around me for a while, you've heard me talk about the client journey. But if you haven't or you need a refresher, when someone decides that they want to find a therapist, when they're really ready to hire someone to hand over their hard-earned money, be that insurance or private pay, there's 3 stages that they go through. The first stage they go through is unaware. They don't know you, they don't know your name, they don't know what you do, they just know that they have a problem that needs solving, right? So that's unaware. That's the first stage that they start at. Then they go to aware. So they learn who you are. Maybe they see you on Psychology Today, they hear about you from their friend, they find you on Google, whatever that is, right? They go from unaware to aware. So all of a sudden they know who you are. But just because they know who you are does not mean that they're going to, become a client of yours, right? If that were true, then anyone that ever knew you that was sort of an ideal client would call. Statistics actually show us that people are going to look at between 5 and 7 different therapist websites before they decide who to work with. So it's not enough for them to be aware. They have to get to that last stage, which is sure of you. They have to be sure that you're the therapist for them before they actually become a paying client. When we talk about marketing, we just talk about helping people get through these stages. We talk about helping people get from unaware to sure. How can we do that? Now, if you need results faster, the fastest results, right, the strategies that are going to get you the results the fastest are the ones that move people through these stages the fastest, right? So that might seem kind of like a no-brainer, but it's something I think is really, really important to understand. If you are newer in private practice and you're not seeing the results that you want yet, or maybe you're planning and you're not sure where to start, then I want you to think about how can I get people aware of me and sure of me the fastest? Because some of the advice that you're getting out there and maybe some of the things that you're doing today might not actually be in your best interest when it comes to speed. Does that make sense? So let's unpack that a little bit. The strategies that are going to get you the fastest results are going to be those that meet someone where they are at a very specific point of need. What do I mean by that? I mean that when people are on Psychology Today, they're not just bumming around. They are on there to find someone to work with. That's why I talk so much about Psychology Today being a great resource. Same with other directories. If someone's landing on a therapist directory, it's not because they're just curious. It's not because they're just going to press follow and then, bookmark you and come back in 6 months. It's because they have a problem and they need help solving it, and they need help solving it now. So it's about meeting someone at a very specific point of need. So directories are a great example. Google, showing up on Google is another place, right? Because if someone's typing in anxiety therapy in Nashville, we can assume with pretty, great confidence that they're probably looking for an anxiety therapist in Nashville, right? So showing up on Google is another great place. The other thing that I think a lot of clinicians, for whatever reason, whether you don't love to connect with people because you're more of an introvert or whatever, one other thing that people don't realize is a really, really fast marketing strategy is networking. Now, sometimes, if you're building a relationship with someone brand new, you're building a relationship with a new physician in your area or some other type of professional, that can take time because building relationships takes time. But reaching out to people, building your, tapping into the people that are already in your circle and letting them know about what you do is a really, really also wonderful way to bring in clients quickly. Because chances are, one way or another, that the other clinicians in your circle, the other professionals in your circle, are bumping into your ideal client at one time or another at a point of need, right? And so if they know you, and they know that you exist, and you've talked to them and built a relationship or touched base recently, then they're going to recommend you to that person who needs your services at the time of need. So that's why when we think about different types of marketing strategies, we want to think about speed, right? Who needs my services the soonest? People on places like directories, people on Google, people that are bumping into my networking contacts, things like that. Now, there's also a lot of other marketing strategies out there, and there might be other things that you're doing that are longer term investments in your practice. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they're probably not going to get you results really, really quickly. So if you are new in your private practice and the first thing you did before doing anything was make a social media profile, a Facebook page or an Instagram page, you are not alone. I'm here to give you some tough love though. That social media page is probably not going to get you results anytime soon. Why is that? Why are these long-term investments not, and some of even this advice that you're seeing out there all the time, why is that not quite as effective? It's because someone who sees one social media post from you on Facebook when they're actually there to look at their cousin's wedding photos and yours just happens to appear is not necessarily someone that needs your services right now. And one post isn't necessarily going to compel them to hire you if they are at a point of need. These are the types of things, the strategies we're going to talk about now, these are the types of things that if you do over time, you establish yourself as an expert. These are the things that if you are really committed to growing a private pay practice, that maybe you need to start, really, really investing in over time so that you're establishing yourself as the authority in your niche. Right? It helps you command higher fees when you have a really strong social media presence, a really comprehensive blog, right? Email marketing, things like that. These are the types of things that are building relationship early in that that unaware to aware phase, so that when they're ready, then you're the one that they think of. But it's not because you're meeting them at the place where they're ready to go all the way across this journey. It's more like, oh yeah, I know that therapist, or I followed that therapist on social media for 4 or 6 months, or I've been on their email list for a year and now I'm finally ready to do therapy, right? So it's investing in that earlier stage of the client journey so that as your practice grows, you have this pool of people to work from. So what are some of these long-term investments? So social media, we talked about that. I'm not saying social media is a bad thing. I'm saying that if you want fast results, I want you to deprioritize social media after hitting those really big, faster results strategies. Does that make sense? So social media, blogging. Blogging is, as we know, super time intensive. You're not putting out a million posts. You're not posting 5 days a week. Like you're maybe posting once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times if you're really ahead of the game on your website. This is something that's going to take some time to kind of get that gear turning, right? And to show your ideal clients, people that are landing on your website, that you know what you're talking about. Email marketing, growing that list of people that know about you but aren't quite ready to work with you, but when they are, they'll call. Again, so we're investing in those early stages. Now, one other long-term investment that's a little bit of an outlier is SEO. Now, this is a conversation I've had with, I think, 3 different clinicians just this week. SEO is something you are hearing talked about anywhere you look for private practice marketing because it's super, super powerful. SEO is abiding by some best practices, building your website and marketing yourself in a way that helps you get found on Google. Now, we talked about Google being one of your fast results, right? Well, you don't start showing up on Google right away. So if you are a new clinician and you're just now getting that website live, I want to set a very realistic expectation with you. You're not going to see results. You're not going to start ranking on Google next week or next month or maybe even the month after that. Ranking on Google takes time. SEO is one of those long-term investments simply because it's not in your power how quickly you show up there. Now, you can certainly abide by SEO best practices and do everything you can to show up sooner, but the fact is that Google takes a while. If you're a brand new website, you're probably looking at 6 to 9-ish months to start ranking where you'd like, and possibly even longer depending on your area and your niche and what it is that you do. So I know that can feel a little bit discouraging, but actually I want this to be motivating to you. I want SEO to be a long-term investment you make in your practice earlier, because, think with me now, you're new in your practice and you start investing in SEO, and SEO is going to start paying off down here, right? But in the midst of investing in SEO, you also are on directories. You have great profiles on directories. You have a great Google My Business profile. You're doing everything you can to show up on Google. Maybe you're even doing Google Ads or something like that. You're networking. You have a great website. So you're doing all of these early marketing strategies. SEO is this long game, and eventually all of your marketing strategy is going to catch up with SEO. You can add in social media and blogging, and before you know it, you have this extremely robust marketing strategy. But early, you didn't invest everywhere. You invested in just the right places to get those results as soon as possible. And then you thought about, okay, what do I need to add on as more of a longer term thing as things went on? So I hope that makes sense. SEO is sort of that outlier and a little bit of a caveat because it's a long-term investment that I want you to make earlier in your practice, so that as you continue to sort of grow that presence, it's something that you can catch up to, and you'll have momentum going into when you start ranking on Google. Now, one thing that I want us to be really, really aware of is that all of these marketing strategies I've just talked about, they're all driving back to your website. If you do not have a strong website, it doesn't matter how good your Psychology Today profile is. It doesn't matter how good and how big your network is. It doesn't matter, how pretty your social media posts are. If people are coming back to your website and they're not connecting with you, if you're not communicating how professional you are, how competent you are, how empathetic you are, whatever that is to your ideal client and how you can help them, then they will go elsewhere. Your marketing strategies outside of your website truly, these days, because of the statistics that we've seen, people looking at 5 to 7 different websites, is they are only as good as your website is. They're only as strong and effective as your website is. So if you, again, are new in your practice or you're new to thinking about marketing in this way, the place I want you to start is your website. I know it's really tempting to start posting on social media because that feels tangible and, well, I can make a really pretty graphic. What I want you to do is instead to resist that temptation and instead to invest in your website to make sure that your website is communicating 2 really important things. Number 1, I understand you, right? You're saying that to your ideal client, you're showing them how, and I know how to help solve your problems. Those are the 2 things your website has to be able to do. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, I don't know how to do that, check out the website topic in the top right corner of the group. I've done tons of trainings on websites because it's so important to your marketing. But all of these strategies we're talking about, getting results in your marketing is so dependent these days on your website that it's not, some clinicians see success without it, but these days if you're just getting started or you're thinking about this in a new way, it's going to be a huge, huge driver in your success. So friends, if you want to get faster results in your marketing, I want you to think about what ways you can get people across this client journey the fastest. Generally, that's going to be things like directories. That's going to be things like Google, be that Google Ads, Google My Business, SEO, which hopefully you're investing in, networking, things that are meeting people at their point of need when they need your services. If you are tempted or right now you feel like you're spending so much time planning what to say on social media or blogging or trying to get on podcasts or whatever, I want you to resist that temptation to put those a little bit lower on your to-do list and to make sure that because you need results faster, you're focusing on the things that are going to get you results faster. I hope this is helpful for you. Let me just see if we've had any, someone said I'm cutting in and out. I hope I haven't been cutting in and out. I hope not, Mary. If I have, maybe I'll have to re-record this. But I don't see any questions here, which is great. Hopefully this made sense. If you're watching this later and you still aren't sure, maybe you're catching the replay, drop your questions into the comment box. Let's chat about this. You know I'm around. But I really, really just want to encourage you that you don't have to do everything in order to get results in your private practice. You really don't have to be everything everywhere all the time. If you can focus on just the right things in the right order, right? If you can prioritize them in the order that are going to get you results the fastest, you're going to be so much more satisfied with what you do. You're not going to feel burnt out, and you're going to be able to do a couple things with excellence as opposed to spreading yourself thin across all these things and then wondering what's actually working and what's actually not. So, Sherilyn, I'm glad this was helpful, and hopefully I wasn't cutting in and out for you. Audra, a little in and out. Shoot. I'll have to check have my husband check my Wi-Fi. But I'm glad that this was helpful. If you're catching the replay and you want to chat, feel free to drop those into the comments. I'm so thrilled to be back. It's really good to be with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk soon.